All right, so we're back. So what we're doing right now is I'm on my computer and I'm going to generate I'm going to make a web server program and I'm going to run it on my computer. Now, this is the exact same type of program that I can if TJ's server is up, I could load this exact same program on TJ's server or on AWS or wherever, and this could be accessible from anywhere in the world. But it turns out these programs and the programs that we're going to be making in this class are things that you can actually run on your own computer over here. And we're going to do this using Node. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little swap over here and we're going to go into Sublime and we're going to take a look at what is a basic Express server. So the programming language that we're using here is JavaScript. This is Node.js. And we've got some import statements over here. So require is the sort of generic import. It's the way to import packages. So I'm making an Express server. We are importing an Express package, and I'm going to make this class object app, which is going to be our Express server. I'm going to take this app server, and I'm going to set the outgoing port over here to the port 80. Port 80 is going to allow this to be generally accessible in the URL address bar. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to define an anonymous function over here that gets called. This function over here gets called when the individual lands at the root page of the server. So basically what I'm saying is I'm assigning a callback function to an individual landing on this page. So in order to make this thing run, in order to make this program run, and therefore assign the callback function to be called when individuals land on the page, what I need to do is I need to fire up Node. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to go into Commander, and he's going to think about it for a moment. Okay, so work. Let's see. I have this in Node. We're in Windows, so it's dir. I've called this guy basic server. So CLS. So if we look at this, yeah, I've got basic.js, and basic.js is this guy over here, C node basic server. So what I want to do is I want to run this program, and that's going to fire up my server to respond to incoming requests. Similar to Python, I can't run the package because if you look at this guy, I'm making an import statement over here. I'm importing Express. I have to install Express. First, I have to import this package. So if we were to take a look at basic server, what this guy is doing is it's making a node modules folder over here. And in that node modules folder, the Express package and all its dependencies were loaded inside of here. So if you skip that step, you're not going to have the package to be imported, and your server's not going to run. But now I can actually start up my server by calling node, whatever I called this guy, basic.js. And so this is going to tell us that an Express server started. Okay, well, what does that mean? This means if I go back over here and let's start closing out this stuff from our previous video, that if I were to go to the address 127.0.0.1, oh, just so you know it's real, yeah, that's it. That's what I typed in here. Just so you know it's real, I will change the text. So in order to make these changes update, I'm going to have to kill off my server with a Control-C, and I'm going to restart him, up arrow, enter. I'm going to go back to 127.0.0.1 and reload. I will change the text. So what we see over here is an address bar, is an address, right? This is an internet address. 127.0.0.1 is computer language speak for me. So if we were to go back over and take a look at this guy, on my computer, 127.0.0.1 is me. If I'm on my phone, 127.0.0.1 is me on the phone. If I'm anywhere on any machine, 127.0.0.1 is you, okay, with respect to the device that you're on. Now, there are other namespaces that are available. So if I were to go and bring up my phone right now, and I were to try to type, take the weather off, but I'm going to go over here to, give me a second, 127 192.0.0.1. So you can't really see this, but I'm hitting enter over here. This site cannot be reached, okay? I don't have a web server running on my phone, so that makes sense that 127.0.0.1 can't be reached. There is, however, some other interesting information. So this computer is on the same network as that phone, right? So remember, if we go back and think of our router, the router begins with 192.168.1.2 over here. So in my router, I actually have an address for this computer. He's 192.168.1.33. So these are things that I tested out before the video. Let's reload this. I will change the text. So 192.168.1.33, because that's the address of this computer, is actually generating the page. My server is responding, but it's not responding to a request from the computer directly. It's responding to a request from the computer via way, and I'm sorry that I've had this, I haven't really shown you over here. So if the computer requests 192.168.1.33, the computer is going to ask the router for that information, and the router is going to ask the computer to run that program. That program information is going to be sent back to the router and then back to the originator of the request, okay? So we almost have like a little ping pong. Computer asks router for address. Router fetches that address off of its network. It goes and it finds it, gets that information back, and sends it to the source that originally requested it. So if we were to take a look at what this looks like over here, this says 192.168.1.33. I will change this text. Okay, let's go over here to something else. Let's go over and restart my server, kill it off. I'm going to run this guy again. So reload the page. I will change the text to something else. Okay, so right now, let's take a look at what this means in terms of the of our network over here, right? So computer asked router, router run program from here, router send information to run on the computer, sends information. It might make a little bit of sense if we did this on the phone, right? So I'm going to go over, I'm going to type this in. So if I type in 192.168.1.33, okay, and I'm going to press go, and here we go. Oh, it came up with something. So I will change the text to something else. And maybe this makes a little bit of sense because it went from the phone to the router. The router ran that node, triggered that anonymous function to be run on the computer. Information was sent back to the router, and then it was sent back to the phone over here. Now, so this is kind of cool. And this is literally the exact same program that we can run on the TJ website. And we can have these sort of programs that get triggered when an incoming request comes in from anywhere. What's kind of cool about this is that I can, I can get live updates. Let's do something else, though. Let's say, let's go back to my ISP over here. Not ISP. I'm going to go back to my my router. And if you look in the router, my computer has a name. So we talked a little bit before about the DNS server, and the DNS server converts these names into actual numeric addresses. So on my network, in theory, I could ask for this particular address as well, right? So I could ask for this guy right here, and I'll change the text to something else. So if we see sorry about that. If we see the name of the computer, this is almost similar to like the name like Amazon.com or wherever. Like it's a name that hasn't been converted into a number just yet over here. And so if I were to go back to here, okay, just so you can see the one-to-one, hi, And I'm just sending text out of this guy. I'm going to kill off my server, run this guy in the basic sense over here, and reload this page. Hi. So now I have the name of the computer as opposed to the number of the computer, and I can also trigger this same response from remote sources, right? So if I were to go back and let's go and take a look at the I'm going to reload this page, right? And we should get hi. But in theory, I could go and I could type the you're gonna have to give me a second over here because this is really long. I'm gonna pause. Hold on. All right, we're back. And I typed it. Well, I would trust that you could sort of imagine, instead of playing this game, that by looking up the 2300 over here, 2300, I just typed in this address. Now what we're getting, there we go, and there's the hi. If we go up into this corner, the phone asked for a string address that went over to the computer. The computer ran the program back to the router, goes back to the phone. Sure, great. Let's go back for 1 second over here. Something that's kind of cool is when somebody lands on this page, you can also so we have this program that's running right now. I'm adding a line inside of here that is going to add a log to the console, right? So let's take a look at this internet over here. I've updated my code so that we're going to send hi. Let's change the number of hi's down to about 3 or 2. So hi. Hello. We don't want to be too mean. And I'm also going to add a little log to myself. So I'm going to run this new program. The Express server has started. And I'm going to not go to that one. I'm going to go to this one. And I'm going to hit enter. And I see that a user has landed at the page, right? So what actually happens, a user has landed at the page. So this program, this is an actual program that's running live on my computer. And I'm just going to go over here. I'm triggering it on my phone right now, right? So I'm refreshing my phone. As I'm refreshing my phone, you can see this event is triggered on the computer. So getting all of this coordination, getting the coordination of these programs, then to start fetching databases and generating pages that look something a lot more interesting and exciting than hi, hello is again fitting into the objectives of the course. But here we have seen this sort of basic program, and this is the sort of progenitor program that we have over here. And this thing is going to be embedded into the TJ servers and do some really cool stuff. And we're gonna grow this into something very interesting. So that's effectively the quick start of what our program is and where it fits into the ecosystem of the internet and what we are going to be doing in this course. Thanks a lot.